I found a map with my house marked on it. Not my old house. Not the place I lived before the infection. My current safe house. The one nobody knew about. The one I had only found 3 days earlier. There was a red circle around it, and underneath the circle someone had written one word. Tonight. I didn't find it in a police station. I didn't find it in a survivor camp. I found it inside the glove box of an abandoned taxi in the middle of the road. That's the part I still can't explain. The taxi was completely dead. No keys, no fuel, no driver. Both front windows were smashed. The back seat was full of dried blood and broken glass. Just another wreck in Knox County. I almost walked past it, but I needed a lighter, and sometimes taxi drivers kept cigarettes. So I opened the passenger door, checked the floor, checked the visor, then opened the glove box. Inside was a folded map. Old paper, wet on one corner, torn at the edges. At first I thought I got lucky. Maps were useful, especially after the power went out. Phones were useless. GPS was dead. Road signs were either missing or covered in blood. A good map could save your life. So I unfolded it across the hood of the taxi, and then I saw the red circle. My safe house. I recognized the street immediately. Small road near the woods outside Muldrow. 2 houses past the burned church. 1 house before the collapsed bridge. It was the place I had been sleeping. The place where I kept my food, my water, my ammunition, my notes, my radio, everything. Someone had circled it perfectly. Not close, not near it, exactly around the house. And below it in small black handwriting was the word, tonight. I remember standing there in the road for a long time. The wind moved the map slightly under my hands. The infected were somewhere behind me. I could hear them moving between the trees. But I couldn't stop looking at the circle, because nobody should have known. I hadn't told anyone. I hadn't seen another living person in almost 2 weeks. I covered my tracks when I moved. I never used the main road. I never lit fires at night. I boarded the windows from inside so it wouldn't look occupied. I didn't even use the front door. And still someone knew. I folded the map and took it with me. That was my first mistake. I should have burned it right there. But when you're alone for long enough, proof becomes addictive. Even bad proof. Even terrifying proof. You want to keep it. You want to look at it again. You want to convince yourself it means something normal. Maybe another survivor marked houses for scavenging. Maybe it was old. Maybe the circle meant nothing. Maybe tonight was just a note from before the world ended. Maybe that word kept me walking. Maybe I got back to the safe house before sunset. The house looked exactly how I left it. Front windows boarded. Back door hidden behind trash cans. Curtains closed. No lights. No movement. The dead wandered near the road, but not close enough to worry about. I went inside through the back. Locked the door. Moved the cabinet in front of it. Checked the kitchen. Checked the bathroom. Checked both bedrooms. Checked the closets. Checked under the bed. Nothing. Nobody. No signs anyone had entered. I placed the map on the kitchen table and stared at it again. The red circle was still there. The word was still there. Tonight. I don't know why, but seeing it inside my house made it worse. Out on the road, it felt like a warning. Inside the safe house, it felt like a promise. I spent the next hour preparing like a paranoid idiot. I moved furniture against both doors, put broken glass under the windows, set empty cans near the hallway so I would hear movement, loaded my shotgun, checked my pistol, filled every bottle with water, packed a bag in case I had to run. Then I turned off every light and waited. Nothing happened for a long time. The sun disappeared. The house became dark. The dead outside grew quieter. Rain started falling around midnight. Soft rain at first, then heavier. The kind of rain that hides footsteps. I sat in the hallway with my back against the wall, shotgun across my knees, map folded in my pocket, trying not to blink. At 1:13 a.m. one of the cans moved in the kitchen. Not fell. Moved. Just a small metallic scrape across the floor. I raised the shotgun immediately. The kitchen was dark. Too dark to see clearly. I whispered, "Who's there?" No answer. Then another can moved. Closer this time. A slow scrape. Then silence. I stood up carefully and aimed down the hallway. The rain hit the roof harder. The whole house creaked around me. I waited. Nothing. I walked toward the kitchen one step at a time. The floorboards sounded too loud. I reached the doorway, pointed the shotgun inside. Empty. The cans were still near the back door. Except one. One can had been moved to the center of the floor, standing upright, perfectly upright, and inside it was a rolled piece of paper. My mouth went dry. I didn't touch it at first. I just stood there staring at it. Then I heard tapping from the window behind me. 3 taps. Slow. Patient. I turned so fast I almost fired. Nobody was there. Only rain on the glass. Only darkness outside. I backed away from the window and picked up the paper. It was another piece of map. A smaller one, torn from the same kind of road map. There was another red circle, not around the house, around the kitchen, and beneath it another word, behind you. I didn't turn around, not immediately. I just stood there holding the paper, breathing through my mouth, listening. Behind me something exhaled, very quietly, right beside my ear. I swung the shotgun around and fired. The blast destroyed the cabinet behind me. Wood exploded everywhere. The sound was deafening inside the small kitchen. I fell backward and hit the wall. There was nothing there. No body. No blood. No person. But the back door was open. The cabinet I had placed in front of it had been moved aside. Quietly. Carefully. Like someone had all the time in the world. Rain blew in through the open doorway. And outside in the mud were footprints. Barefoot. Human. Standing just beyond the door. Facing inside. I shut the door and shoved the cabinet back. My hands were shaking badly now. I kept telling myself it had to be a person. A real person. Some survivor messing with me. Maybe someone watching the house. Maybe someone trying to scare me away. People did worse things after the infection. Food made people cruel. Fear made people creative. I wanted it to be a person. I needed it to be a person. Because people can be killed. Whatever this was, I wasn't sure. At 2:06 a.m. the radio turned on. I had not touched it in days. It sat on the shelf beside the sink. No batteries inside. A dead emergency radio I kept because I couldn't throw it away. Static filled the kitchen. Then a voice came through. Not loud. Not dramatic. Almost bored. You moved the map. I stopped breathing. The voice continued. You were not supposed to move the map. I grabbed the radio and threw it against the wall. It cracked open and fell apart on the floor. The static stopped for 3 seconds. Then every radio in the house turned on. The small one in my backpack, the broken one in the bedroom, the car radio outside and the dead pickup truck. All at once. Static from every direction. Then the same voice. You were supposed to stay marked out. I ran to the bedroom. Grabbed my bag. I didn't care about food anymore. I didn't care about water. I was leaving. The moment I reached the hallway, something knocked on the front door. 3 slow knocks. Then the back door. 3 slow knocks. Then the bedroom window. 3 slow knocks. Then the ceiling. 3 slow knocks. Above me, inside the house. The knocking moved in a circle. Door. Window. Ceiling. Wall. Floor. Like the house itself had hands. Like something was checking every way in, or every way out. I backed into the hallway corner and aimed the shotgun at nothing. The radios kept whispering. Not words anymore. Just static and voices under static. Dozens of voices. Maybe hundreds. All speaking too quietly to understand. Then one sentence came through clearly. He is still inside the circle. I looked down. At the floor. At the wooden boards beneath my feet. There was a red line there. Thin. Wet. Like paint. It curved across the hallway. I followed it with my eyes. It went under the kitchen table. Around the living room. Past the bedroom. Back toward the hall. A circle. Someone had drawn a red circle around the inside of the house. While I was awake. While I was sitting there with a shotgun. Somehow they had marked the house again. From the inside. That was when I stopped thinking. I ran to the front window and smashed through the boards with the shotgun stock. The wood cracked. The window shattered. Rain and cold air rushed in. Behind me the kitchen light turned on. I froze. Because I didn't have power. The house had no generator. No electricity. But the kitchen light was on. Warm yellow light spilled into the hallway. And in that light I saw the table. The map was unfolded across it again. But it was different now. There were more red circles. Dozens of them. All over Knox County. Roads. Houses. Gas stations. Churches. Warehouses. Places I had slept. Places I had only passed once. Places I had never told anyone about. And then I saw one circle moving. I don't know how else to describe it. The red ink moved across the paper. Slowly. Crawling from the kitchen toward the front of the house. Toward me. The radio screamed. He is leaving the circle. Something slammed against the bedroom door, then the bathroom, then the kitchen walls.